Then there's teachers that are working so hard right now and parents. And, I've talked about this on the podcast as well, but there's so many people doing good right now. And so I also love highlighting and sharing and pushing that out into the world. So maybe look for ways to highlight and show appreciation to those people too.
Welcome to the podcast with Kylie Nichols. I'm Kylie, founder and CEO of the life-changing accessories brand Nickel & Suede and the successful style blog One Little Mama. I made the unlikely transition from stay-at-home mom to founder and entrepreneur. It takes a lot of courage to make a change like that, but I love the growth and the confidence that's come from stepping out of my comfort zone. This is the podcast for people who want to be inspired to be brave, to take a chance, and to change their life. I'll be sharing stories and actionable takeaways about working with your spouse, being a working mom, starting and growing a business, confidence, motivation, and more. So get ready to get inspired and to get started with Kylie Nichols.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Kylie and you are with Kylie Nichols. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm so glad you joined us. And if you were listening to last week I had some great advice, unsolicited advice for small business owners. But really, the heart and intention of last week's episode, and really every episode, is to give hopefully advice and help that can uplift and add value, really. I think my goal on all my platforms is just to add value and to help women, help people in their lives. And as I was giving advice last week and thinking about advice, really during this quarantine and COVID-19 and the coronavirus, there's just been so much focus and time to think about helping others. And so today I really was thinking about helping others, and I've been thinking about helping others a lot. And that's been something that's been all over social media and in the news. And so today I wanted to talk about how we can better ourselves and really better our own situations by focusing on helping others, which seems kind of selfish, but I think we've all been kind of in a funk. I don't know about you, but I'm been feeling in a funk lately. And I've been talking to friends and employees and people who've been at home for weeks and feeling like, oh my goodness, this is never going to end. I'm feeling just like, I just want to get out of these four walls. I'm so tired of feeling like the same day over and over again. But really, as I've been thinking about, we all can feel better when we start thinking about other people. And the more we can think about other people instead of ourselves, the better we feel. That's just a true principle. And so I was thinking, I wanted to share some ideas of how I've been trying to focus on helping other people, and that's been lifting me up and making me feel better during the last few weeks. And another reason this has been on my mind is, Easter weekend just happened, and I'm religious, I'm Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ, and so this will, have a little bit of a religious turn maybe, but I want to be more like Jesus Christ, and his example was really to serve and to help other people. And so just trying to think about that more has been on my mind. And so showing compassion, and there's just so many people right now who are feeling lonely, who are feeling exhausted, who are feeling overworked and tired and burdened and all those things. And so I know there's so many ways that we can individually, as we can do it as businesses, we can do it as a community. There's so many ways that people are looking outside themselves right now. And that is such an amazing side effect, or even gigantic effect, of a huge crisis in the world right now. And, the good news that we're seeing right now of people doing good things for each other is so incredible. And so as I'm running a business, I've been seeing other businesses kind of change what they're doing right now to help during this crisis. And that means making masks, or that means making scrubs, and that means making respirators and ventilators. And that's just not something that our business can retool to do. I have literally no idea how to even sew a mask. I know there's plenty of YouTube tutorials for that, but much less make a ventilator or a respirator. But our earrings actually bring so much joy because they're such a fun piece of happy mail, and they're such an uplifting thing that you can wear at home, that actually has been really a fun thing to continue to do for women and bring joy to people is continue to try to send out earrings. And we've been writing notes on those packing slips and saying, hey, I hope this brings you joy. Hey, enjoy. And signing it by sending our name, like adding extra happy in there. And so, yes, we've been doing that as a business, but I've been just trying to think like, how can I do that myself? How can I, think of others? And so, so what are some things that I've done personally? And so like last week I mentioned, there's a restaurant in town that made it easy to pick up dinner and take it home. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to pick up dinner for my family. This was super easy. What other families do I know that I could take dinner to? And so I made a triple order and we took dinner to 2 other people. Okay, so that's like one example of one thing that was easy to do. And it was, a packaged meal made at a restaurant that was easy to just drop on someone's doorstep and say, hey, we brought you dinner. But I have been trying to think, okay, what are the places that I have, arenas that I can make an impact? So I own a business. I have my employees I can think about. And so if I want to do good for my employees, what are those things that I can do? So like today I spent time calling my employees and checking in on them and saying, hey, how are you doing? And kind of giving them updates. And these are the, employees that are at home that I haven't been able to see in weeks. And so checking in on them, or should I send them a card? Like I can make a list of ways that I can affect them. I also have my immediate family, obviously, but then I've got my customers. So how are ways that I can positively affect them? I've got my neighbors in my neighborhood. I've got my followers on social media. So I have all these different arenas, and I know you do too. Like you have your different circles of influence. And so then maybe just like think about what are the different ways that you can do good in each of those areas. So, and like other things we've done for employees is like, and friends is like Soren and the boys went out and picked up donuts. And so we thought, okay, we're getting donuts anyways for our kids. How many other people could we take donuts to? Okay, pick up 3 dozen. And then who comes to mind as people who could maybe appreciate donuts? All right, go drop them off at his house and her house. And that was fun for the kids too, because they got to be involved in the little pick up and drop off. I also have, we've got grandparents who live far away. So we have had the kids make cards for them. And then as I was thinking about grandparents, I thought, we should send them updated pictures. We got pictures recently done. Well, we could order them, a throw with the family picture on it, or a mug or something like that. Like gifts that we typically would order with family photos on them, we would send them at Christmas time. Maybe they would really appreciate that now instead of at Christmas time. So just kind of getting creative and saying, you know what? Let's pretend today is a holiday. Like, what would we do for people now instead of waiting till Christmas time? Like, everybody needs a pick-me-up now instead. Thinking about the community, what could I do good that's good in the community right now? I know that I have a little bit more influence on social media than maybe the average person. And so the other night I tried to brainstorm what are some businesses that I really love that could use a pick-me-up or could use a shout out. And so I spent time ordering from them and shouting out some different businesses. And then when the packages arrive, I plan on shouting them out again. And just like, I think shouting out small businesses that you love and sharing their posts, like that's a way to do good things, whether you buy from them or not, but sharing from the businesses that you love and trying to help promote them is a way that everybody can do that. Something else that I do pretty frequently on my own Instagram is just sharing encouraging quotes and thoughts that I see. So I'll actively go look on Pinterest, or even just on Instagram. There's lots of different social media accounts that share only quotes and little graphics of things that are really uplifting and positive and hope-filled. And I'll just share them to my story. And so I'm constantly trying to add that little boost into somebody's day whenever they see my story. And that's because I want to kind of add that optimism and that positivity. And it doesn't cost me anything, and it doesn't cost them anything. And it even gives some exposure to that other account that I shared it from. But it's trying to do good. Where can I do good? Where can I add good? Where can I give somebody a boost? And I've had people say, I really appreciate and I love seeing those, because that's kind of the thought that I needed to that day. maybe thinking about, spending time at home with your kids more, or spending time with your spouse more, taking time to like play a game. So we've got games in our basement that we get from my grandparents every year, and some of them we've never even opened before, which maybe I shouldn't be admitting, but we just don't always get around to playing board games like we would want to. And so we finally opened a board game the other night that we've never played. And so getting around to playing those games, or even playing a game with your spouse after the kids go to bed instead of watching Netflix, like those kind of do good memories. I think challenging your spouse to hey, why don't you play chess? Like, let's see if we can win. Like, I think those memories do a good thing. So I think another thing that I'm loving doing is really celebrating all the other people who are doing good right now out in the world. So like at Nickel and Suede, like I said, we can't really make masks right now. We can't really make ventilators right now, but we did want to celebrate and appreciate like healthcare workers who are working so hard right now and can't be home making cookies with their kids or on quarantine. So we did a giveaway where we had people nominate their friends and their parents and their sisters and themselves who were working in the healthcare, and we gave away earrings, 5 pairs of earrings for every 100 healthcare workers who were nominated. So we ended up giving away, I think, over 100 pairs of earrings, and just sent them out as like a pick-me-up happy mail to those healthcare workers who are working so hard right now. And that was just a really fun, also a tearjerker way to do a giveaway, because we just had this flood of nominees of awesome men and women out there in the world that are just working so hard right now. And I mean, then there's teachers that are working so hard right now, and parents, and I've talked about this on the podcast as well, but there's so many people doing good right now. And so I also love highlighting and sharing and pushing that out into the world. So I think we can each maybe look for ways to highlight and show appreciation to those people too. So whether maybe that's putting hearts on your window, like there's the Hearts for Healthcare hashtag that I've seen. And so I've seen people putting hearts on their windows or in their lawns, or I've seen people putting, we appreciate you little cards in their mailbox for their postal workers. Or I think just it's really great to see all of the ways everyone's showing more appreciation right now for each other. I heard the other day, I think it was Tyler Enders from Maiden Casey, he was saying that the ER doctors were saying that they're actually getting thank yous right now. They're actually feeling appreciated, and that usually it's a really thankless job. And so I think just saying thank you to people who typically aren't appreciated is a new habit that we should all get into. But sharing on social media all the different ways that you can see good ideas of, hey, this is a really kind way to do a kind of act of kindness, or this is a really good way to do an act of kindness. Even sharing this podcast to say, hey, this gal had lots of good ideas to do acts of kindness or ways to, fill other people's cups. Like, there's obviously I've seen people doing lots of chalk drawing and positive, uplifting messages, but, or book exchanges where kids are, maybe exchanging books. And there's so many different ways that I think people have good ideas to boost appreciation for each other and to do kind things for each other. This one's slightly off topic, but yesterday my kids had an Easter egg hunt put in our front yard, where somebody put a bunch of Easter eggs in our yard and had kind of just done like a random Easter egg hunt for us, which was just really kind. And then you're supposed to pass it on. But I just think that was a delight and a surprise for them, and it showed care from somebody in our neighborhood. And so I think really just being aware and then sharing and saying, this is a great idea. I don't know, whatever. Okay, wrap this one up. Okay, last thought. So the last thing I want to say is that something I always say is some of these ways of caring for others and caring, try that again. Okay. So the last thing I would say about this is that some of these ways for caring about other people or showing appreciation, some of these are going to take getting out of your comfort zone. Some of these are easy. Some of these, some of these phone calls or some of these texts are easy to do because it's your friends. It's people that you always look after. It's someone that you always wave to. But I think some of these ways of showing appreciation could actually be like next level. It could be meeting, waving to. It could be leaving something for somebody that you actually need to make amends with. It could be something that just pushes you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and I'm all about that. And so I would just encourage you to think next level, think outside of your normal sphere of people, and think who really could use some extra love, who really is lonely, who really does need more, because I think it's the people that we don't interact with on a usual basis that really need some looking after right now, and that will grow the most through this and will feel the most full after we do something kind for somebody that really needs it and that we don't typically interact with or go after. So I just would encourage you to look for others to love and go after filling other people's cups this week. And I think that we will find a lot of joy in that, and that it's not wasted, and that the days will fly by, and we're going to find a lot of momentum in building relationships, even through a crisis and even through difficulty that we might be facing right now. So hope these ideas helped. And if you have ideas or ways that you've seen people showing appreciation or people who've shown love to you, would love to hear those. So send them in on the comments on YouTube or on Instagram. You can find, in One Little Mama or in Nickel and Suede. So as always, please leave a review. Would love to have a rating or review. That really helps with the podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for listening today to With Kylie Nichols. Stay tuned next week for another episode. And if you can't wait until then, you can find me at onelittlemama.com, MOMMA, for beauty, our family, style tips, and more. And you can find my business at nickelandsuede.com with the and spelled out. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.